Guys, Zabernai here, your Tech and Games Crusader. We're back and wanted to do a little follow-up for the last video because I had to redo it due to my phone overheating and running out of space multiple times. So this is the AYN Odin2 Max. You can see I've taken the fan out. Well, there's a reason for that. This is the fan, and the size of the fan, and the model of the fan for the Odin 2. You got the BT 3500 or 3505-05101-F as in Foxtrot, P as in Papa, F as in Foxtrot 001. DC 5 volt, 1.5 watts. And if you can be able to get that QR code, you may be able to find out something about it other than the SYTW brand there. So I wanted to take a measurement here on the fan just to show the reduced cooling output performance of the Odin2 Portal compared to the Odin 2. So we got 34.669 and the actual opening here . 23.24. So that's the Odin 2 fan. Here's the size of the heatsink, and I want to distinguish the heatsink itself here. You can see how it's angled, curved upwards because of the fan. So it's as tall as the fan. You can also see the opening around the heatsink where it can be able to pull in more air, even with this cuff right here on the battery. Having a little bit of a shroud spacing lets it pull in more air. So on the Odin 2 Portal, first off, you need this is an iFixit kit. I'm using, just for more precision, the J1S00. But you can get by with the PH-I. That's all you need to pop this panel off on the back. And then when you get your 4 screws out, start behind the exhaust. You want to pop and just pull across, and then get at the edge of the trigger. You just give it a slight twist. On the outside of the trigger, you just push out slightly, and it'll pop those loose. And then on the bottom, where it's not attached to anything, you just remove it that way. So the thing to be aware of, on the inside here, you can see these are glued in. So they're using industrial electrical glue. It's non-conductive. Then you have your memory card little opening here. It's attached to the back. You can see you have your grill here. It is filtered. You have these little spacers that go over top of where the battery is. So, beyond that, here's the fan for the Odin2 Portal. This is your solo vibration motor. If you want better battery life, and you're okay with opening up the device, just disconnect this. You don't need it if you're doing development, because most development projects, you don't have anything that sort connected anyways. So here's the first negative that I see on the shroud. See how there's no channel opening or twirling or anything for it to pull in air from anywhere else. It's only got this area right here. So with this type of design, there's no reason to have all of this open except for passive diffusion of heat for the battery on this side. And then right there, it's literally, that's all you're pulling in for air for the SoC. If this shroud is not here, or if it had, you can see, it's just straight in. There's nothing to be able to catch air from anywhere outwards. So if you had like sweeping paths for it to pull in air, that would be so much better for the cooling on this device. Also, this shroud right here, other than to hold the vibration motor, is adding weight. I had to get my scale replaced, so I'll weigh everything later. If you've not seen the inside for the trigger mechanism, this counter pulley for the trigger is absolutely genius. Alright, give me a moment and I'll pause and we'll remove this shroud and I'll show you. Alright, we're back. So you see right here, you've got this channel. You want to get tweezers to be able to pull the cable up. When you get it out of that channel, you can just remove it. So, as you can see, there's a lot that's changed on this device. As far as like, this is weight. It's also impacting your cooling. Without this, you can now see the difference in the size of the fans. Let's go ahead and measure this fan. 28.8 millimeters. And then your actual opening here for the fan, .15 millimeters. So yeah, you're losing a little bit of cooling just because it's a smaller fan, which means it gets louder and it can't spin up as much air. It's the same fan fin design. As you can see, they're still sweeping outwards. Give me a moment and I'll get the fan out and we'll check the model number on it. Okay guys, so here's the shroud for the Odin 2. As you can see, it's curved and everything the way it needs to be. You have this large opening here for the fan and the heatsink so it can pull in air. Here's the heatsink for the Odin 2. Here's where the center of it is, and that's your SoC under here. You can see you actually have filtering or grating on the outside of where this heatsink is, where the heat pipe is attached to. You have a terminating point that the heat pipe is actually reinforced with metal under it, so it's not going to have a hot spot. This is a well-designed heat pipe and cooling solution. So, this obstruction on the Odin 2 Portal, this is a no-no. This is not something you ever want to do. You don't want to choke in your airflow. This is your only intake. On the side here, for that venting, that's exhaust for the battery. On this side, this is all you have. This had some indents to where it had air could be pulled in from an angle around it, like maybe 4 places. That would be great. As it is, here is your heat pipe. There's your SoC. Notice on this, how close is this to the edge to terminating where the heat pipe is? That's like 0.5 millimeter. Compare the two designs. Notice, on all sides, the closest you have is 3 millimeters right there in that corner where it terminates out the end of the heat pipe. This is where you get hot spots at. This is where you have this handheld heat up. And this board under here, if you don't have a heat spreader or heat sink for an OLED, it'll warp the display. And I've already noticed a little bit of warping with the display. Alright, here's how small this heatsink is. Instead of being above the heat pipe, this one is under and next to the heat pipe. It's all even. Take a look. It's smaller. It's more dense fins, but it doesn't have this corrugation to reinforce for extra cooling exhaust. Let me see if I can get a light on here. Hold on. Alright, got a light. So, turning this on. There you can see the heat pipe. If you put it through the vent, all of that is the heat pipe and your heat sink. These are wider fins, thicker fins. But you can see how it angles up. So let's take it from the board. .25 millimeters. That's how tall this is from the heat spreader. Let's check on, see this right here, this is that heat spreader for the OLED or AMOLED display. So don't touch that. And 5.73 millimeters. Let's go ahead, grab our light. See how this is just sandwiched with the heat pipe. Here's the information on the fan. This one is the SYTW. BT Beta Tango 300-505-101-FPF, which is Foxtrot Papa Foxtrot 005. And we have here DC 5 volt 1.5 watt. And then if you want to try and look up the QR code, there you go. So, measuring this fan, from the sides, we got 29.64. Your opening, $20.54. Smaller fan equals less cooling. Here's the other thing. While this is more dense, it's a slight bit taller, there is still a detriment, a big detriment, whenever, if it was like this, it'd be great. You could pull air in from all across because you see how much height the battery has next to it. That means this is an angle. It can pull air across and into here to exhaust out. But with this on here, where it equals to the battery, you're screwing yourself. You're killing your cooling. So this is why, if you don't like or don't need vibration, because this thing is super strong anyways, just disconnect it. When you run it like this, without the shroud on, or if I can get some tools to be able to modify the shroud, I'll do further testing on that. But as it is, you run it like this, you're going to get much better cooling. Okay, so the thing to do, make sure you line this headset jack or headphone jack up, the 3.5 millimeter jack, under it, and then you can snap it together. And then you're back together. All right. And I'll be back. Let me get the other back. Okay, so we're going to do a comparison. We're doing it shroudless on both to see which one is impacted more by cooling of the shrouds. And we'll compare speakers next after we do this. So what I've found is the easiest way to do the back plate back on. You just set it down like this. You set it down. All right, let's go ahead and power on. And I'll move this case out of the way for at the moment. If you're wondering what this is a decibel meter. So let's go ahead. I want to show you guys what I use for testing the stress test on the device. As far as like, this will determine your highest temperatures the device will go to. And that's this Pirate Ship Benchmark. I'll leave a link in the description for the video. Let's go ahead and turn this one down. All right, on here, we want to go to, let's set them both at their highest brightness. It's already at the highest. So what this is not for being pretty. This is for being intense. So it's going to run voxels as well as vectors and a bunch of math in the background, and it's just going to load everything up. We're going to graphics test high. From here, the settings we want to enable, want it on max. You want to slide down, make sure that post-processing, use lights, and use clouds are all enabled. And it should also enable your shadow quality and water quality as well. So we're going to go max. And go up, and let's go ahead and run test. And I'm going to hold them both up on the sides. So you can see the temperatures. I can already tell you these temperatures are about 12 degrees Celsius lower than what I was getting with the shrouds on for the portal, and about 7 degrees Celsius lower, maybe about 4.5 Celsius lower on the Odin 2. I just have to keep touching it so it doesn't close. I don't have them right next to each other so that neither one's air is being impending. All right, let's go ahead and touch it, touch it. So we've gotten up to 61 on the portal. Let's go ahead and touch it. $61.6 on the portal. $62, $64. All right, let's go ahead, make sure, drop it to sport, so fan's going to get super loud. Let's drop it to high performance now. So that's just a performance test before. Now we're dropping everything to the highest. So you can see on the Odin 2, we have max 60, 43 average. On the Portal, we have max 121, 57 average. Part of that score is being impeded because of the higher refresh rate. Because this is set on 120 and this is set on 60. So let's go ahead. Wait on these ads to go away. I'll be back. Okay, we're back. Alright, so I've got both of these set up now. Let's go ahead and run. Everything is on the highest performance and fan is at 100%. Let's see how it does. Got these propped up on cases and boxes, so. So let's go ahead and take a look here. We got 40, 53, 69, 65, 64, 65, 66, 62, 65, 67, 67.4, I mean, it's a far cry from where it was before whenever it was hitting 98.2 degrees Celsius. We got 55, we got 68.1 on the Portal, 61.7 on the Odin 2, 61.3 on the Odin 2. Let's go ahead and test audio while we're doing this. 62.9 on the Odin 2. This just goes to show a smaller heat sink and a smaller heat pipe and a smaller heat spreader overall is going to result in higher temps. It doesn't matter if it's a more dense thin array on the heatsink. It's still, you know, we got 63.5 on the Odin 2. But we're not hitting 73.5 like we were with this shroud on the Odin Portal. Let's go ahead and run it again. There. I'm only paying attention this time to the portal. $68.5. See, your 3D marks and your PC mark and all your Geekbench and all that stuff is not going to touch what this benchmark does. This can heat up a device more than any other thing I've ever found, other than just holding it out in direct sunlight. 69.3. So we're getting a higher average thermals now. Frame rate's more stabilized too. But yeah, the first time I ran it, before I fixed the issue with the fan in the Odin Portal that I got for the review unit, there was a piece of slag that was stuck inside the fan. You can probably see it right there. There was a little piece that was stuck in the fan blade, and it was deterring the fan from being able to spin all the way to the fullest. It was only getting about 60% fan speed when I was running it on very high, and it was not liking it at all. So it hit 98.2. So now we've averaged out around 58 or so. 59, 61.3, 62, 62.9. The highest this got was 65.9 for an entire millisecond. So yeah, that'll conclude these torture tests of the temperatures. I'll be back with the next. Okay, we're back. So what this is going to be is an audio test. And what I'm going to test on is game that I have a character in called Vita Fighters. So the track that I'm going to be doing is from Kevin MaCleod, and it's just awesome. Just wait and listen. So we'll go to training. Do. Oh, look, there I am. Where's Subway? There it is. All right. So we're going to test the Odin 2 speaker first. This is about 3 inches away from it. All right. That's not what I meant to do. All right, let's test the Odin 2 Portal. And this is without Android Absolute Audio enabled. So this is just raw as it is out of the box. If I enable Android Absolute Audio, it gets about 14 decibels louder. So you can see it's not as loud and still about the same distance. These are sitting about a little past a foot, maybe 13.5 inches away from the camera. So if I do both of them now, I can't believe it synced up that well. That's pretty awesome. So, here's your buttons. And let's go ahead and do actual mic, or not mic, but noise test with the decibel meter and the D-pad. Here's your click in for your left analog. Here's your trigger. Shoulder. If you let it go on the trigger, it sounds hollow because of the transparent back panel. If you care about the back buttons, here's these buttons. Face buttons. So let's go ahead and try some stuff here. Just to, how responsive is it? All right. Let's go ahead and listen to the speaker again. Here's a foot away. You can tell that it has a deeper, on the actual resonance chambers for the speakers, they're deeper. So you can have a little bit more bellow to the bass and the baritone. And your highs aren't shrill, but they're not exactly pleasant. So let's go on the Odin2 Portal. I'm a foot away from this phone right now. You can tell it has more of a tenor sound. The bass is there, but the highs are not very shrill. They're just kind of mellow. It makes it a lot more pleasant overall. So it's a refinement to the audio. Where your resonance chambers are just wider, they're not as deep. You don't get as deep of bass as you do in the Odin 2. So let's listen to buttons on this. So here's the D-pad. Let's go around it. Let's press in on our left L3. It's lower pitched. So you have two actuation points on your shoulder. So you got here, it's going to be louder, so it's right on top of it. And then you got here. You press it on the sides, it gets more dull sounding. And then your triggers. Triggers are tighter, better spring to it, and it's also quieter. Your range is about the same, but it's just more fleshed out. Alright, let's listen to fan noise. On the Odin2 Portal. Max fan. You have a little bit more coil wind to it. Just because it's a smaller fan, it has to spin up higher and faster. Put it back on smart. Let's listen to the fan. For the Odin 2. Sounds more like a server fan. It's not as high of decibels. Alright. So, let's go ahead. Listen to buttons. And then the face buttons. Face buttons are a little louder, and I think that is because it has this hard edge for the surface. There's less curvature to them than there are on the Odin 2. The Odin 2 buttons are very similar to Joy-Con buttons, where that they're very risen up, almost bubble-like. And you can see, even with the curvature of the glass front, these aren't raised up as much. They're almost like, what's that candy? Sweet Tarts. That's what they remind me of, is Sweet Tarts. You can definitely hear these buttons a lot more. D-pad feels much better. It's hard to do this whenever I'm looking at the screen I'm recording on instead of at the phone or at the device screen. So I'm doing it similar to like a viewfinder. Alright. So from there, let's go over to our imaging test and show that this is not true OLED in the way that it's capturing it. So be right back and I'll get that set up with these two devices as well as my portable DCI3 or DC3P 105% display. Alright guys, we're back. So this is a 13.3 inch OLED display, and make sure first off on the portal extra dim is off, and we're going to do at 64%, which I've found is the best to not blow out all the colors. And also the thing people say about the turning green on this, that's normal on an OLED, because whenever you don't have proper HDR, it'll turn green or brown whenever you get lower. So, as you can see on this, it doesn't turn that way. Why? Because I have an algorithm plugged into this to be able to get proper color rendering. It still doesn't do HDR, but it does do full output. So you can see this is pretty legible. This is still blown out. The point where that this is 800 nits as well. Technically 850. Right there. It's right above half. 52% is where they are equal as far as the quality on it. So let's go ahead and let's start these. Let's turn the volume down. I don't have sound going on it just because I don't want to deal with more things showing up, copyright, whatever, this, that. So, can you see what's going on right now? Notice this has more gamma to it than this does. That's because this is not true HDR right now. See how this has got blues to it and a little bit of brown and a little bit of the edging on the green on the blanket there before? This is just saturating things, is all it's doing. It's nice, but it's not HDR. You need an HDR toggle inside the color options to be able to enable proper HDR10 or HLG, which this device does. We're going to go through two more of these as well. This is the one that's 2021, the black. There's another one that's the black 2, but there's also some others that are more recent as well. And if I haven't said before, I can't use the dock right now because where I was showing that you could fit this in the dock without the back on, it dislodged the USB Type-C port to where it's not giving a signal output anymore. And dropped another device. It's a Red Magic device. Alright, so let's go ahead and go through this one. Close. Kept trying to tap on the wrong thing. Alright. Go through the ink art. This one really shows the difference. Like you can see that this has more green tints on the edges of it, and this has more neutral, like white. Just because a color is richer doesn't mean it's HDR. It just means it has higher saturation. That one's a shorter one, so. Why not? Let's go for. Where's that? I'll do it this way. Alright, so this one is a more recent one. So this is not going to show up precisely at the same speed because this is set to 120 Hertz and this is 60. So keep that in mind. But this is a professional display that I use for being able to match colors whenever I'm doing transcodes from old VHS and Laserdiscs. It works great for that. I just have it on a swinging arm on my desk. Also works great for whenever I have to test something out on the Ally. Or swing around to test something on the Odin 2. Close it. There was another one I wanted to show you. That's the Black 2. There's also Vacation. So yeah, here's the Black 2. So you have more overall color in the 13.3 inch OLED, and you have less banding across the colors, so you can see more color separation. Whereas this is just a lot more saturated. You don't have any banding to it. This is not a QLED. You see how this lights everywhere, and this is just trying to stop it. There we go. There's one more I was going to show you that has a lot more vibrancy to it. It's called Vacation, I think. Yeah, Daydreams works. We'll do that one. So see how you have more color variety and it's less compressed on the 13.3 versus the Portal? See how the sky is washed out? And you have the little bit of banding across the sky right there. That's the first time I've seen some banding. But if it had Widevine level 1, then it would be fantastic to watch 4K streaming video on, or Plex or something like that. But without Widevine level 1 security, it just doesn't want to detect any HDCP signals. So it's not going to output without having a manual toggle HDR. I'm purposefully trying to find things now that don't have a whole lot of black to them, so you can see more of the color banding whenever it shows up. Right there, you can just see how good of an OLED both of them are, though. Alright, be back, and we'll go from there. Okay, let's do one that has all three here. This is the Hawaii test. There we go. So this is an 8K output. So this, for whatever reason, is running behind. But it's the exact same thing. This is set on its brightest. These are set on brightest, and then this is at 52%. Now if I take this all the way, it blows everything out. Like it just washes it out. So like I said, you want to have your brightness right about there. You can tell this panel is not bad. I mean, it does good for what it is, but it's not an OLED. That's the only difference. See, I've got this set on the neutral color palette, and this is set to default. So this is out of the box settings. I've not messed with color on it because the color options menu, I'll show you what happens right now. Or not right now, but whenever this gets done, I'll show you what happens when you go into the color menu. This actually looks really good on greens and grays and things like that. I'm impressed. Like, even though it's kind of lagging because it's an 8K output, it's still impressive. And this is 12 gigs and this is 16 gigs of RAM. So it's just, this has a lot on it already. Like, this is 512 gigs of storage, so is this, but this is over 75% full, and this is only about 65% full. RAM and storage management make a huge difference in decodes and codec runs and things like that, so yeah, I'm impressed that it's handling this well on an 8K output for the quality of the stream or the video that it's running. And I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. So, this is device check or dev check. Wanted to show you what it shows about this device here. Hardware. HDR support, it says wide color gamut, no. Refresh rate 60. So it's saying it's a screen size is 6.9 inches. I think this is a little smaller than that. It's 5.98 inches to be precise. Says it's HDR supported, HDR10 hybrid log gamma, which is where it gets brighter and it will contrast on its own. It's auto contrasting. And that's all I wanted to show you on that one. We'll check on the other ones. Alright, we're back. So, here we have dev check on the Odin2 Portal. So display, it says it's 319 ppi with screen density of 369 dpi. Screen size is 6.9 inches. Refresh rate 120 hertz. Supported refresh rates 60 and 120. Wide color gamut, yes. HDR support, HDR10, and hybrid log gamma, or HLG. Audio, here's your supported codecs. You got AAC, SW, MLAW, FLAC, HEIC, RAW, Opus, decoder, ALAW, encoder, HW, AVC, AMMB, MP3, H.263, H.264, HEVC. We got AMRWB, MPEG-4, AV1, Vorbis, and XP9, and VP8. Pro audio support is enabled, and low latency audio is enabled. Alright, so, like I said before, the reason I didn't mess with the option in here under color, well, you can see right now, I have top notification bar up here, and I have a navigation bar at the bottom. So if I go to display, and I go down to colors, as soon as I do this, it's going to go away. Boom, it's gone. It's no longer present. You can't see it, but you can still interact with it. Only thing is, though, when you're trying to do ADB pushes through a file server, it won't work. So this is why I can't progress on getting Google Play certification verified for a higher Android version on this device, to where it supports more actual games and stuff. Like, some people complain, oh yeah, well, this game's not working on this device. Why? Because it's not Google Play certified. If the device is Google Play certified, it means it can have support for more devices. You won't get so many things that come up when you go to the Google Play Store saying, this is not compatible with this device, does not work with this device. Alright, so when you want to change this as a, until the firmware update comes out later this week, is what AYN is saying. To fix it, you go down to where it says About Handheld Console, go all the way to the bottom, and you go and tap on this, and it'll say you're a developer. You tap on it like 5 to 7 times. Now when you go out of here, you go to System, you go down to Developer Options, which was not there before, and what you're wanting to look for Oh, I didn't think it was going to let me enable HD audio. Show hardware layers updates. And disable hardware overlays. When you do this, you get that back. But the reason you do show hardware layer updates is because, see where it says flash hardware layers green when they update. So the reason people are seeing green is because of that. Make sure it's off. And once you do that, just go use your device. Now let me get a couple of things prepared and I will be right back. Alright, so I'm back, and as you saw whenever I opened the video, I was using this case. What is this case? This is a Mamba Switch OLED case. And it is a case out right now that has a lot more storage space. If you wanted a larger case that fits pretty well the AYN Odin Portal. Odin2 Portal, precisely. Just like I found this Butterfox case that works fantastic to be able to fit the Odin 2. If you have the grip on there, it's almost a perfect fit. This should have enough space to fit the system with the grip. Because from end to end, we have about 11 3/4 inches, or 295 millimeters wide. So I don't have the measurements for the grip, but this should fit. As you can see on the ends, got about 20 millimeters on that end. Let's move it. It's about 24, so yeah, 24 and 24 on each side, millimeters. It is slanted, but it's reinforced. Can hold the system. Without damaging the screen. It's not going anywhere. Even if your caps come off, it's not going anywhere. Because as soon as it hits that D-pad, it's not going any further. This case was $25. If you have an Odin 2 and you want to get this case, the Butterfox case, It comes in a trim that's white, black, red, or blue. And it was $18.99 on Amazon whenever I got it. I think regular is like $22.99. Great case, a lot of space. Like I said before, this thing got you brick, you got the super dock. You can easily carry cables or anything else you need to. It's a great little setup. This right here is going to be my travel case for the Odin 2 Portal, because whenever I get my white unit, because this one's going to go to Yo Video Games after I get it set up for them. This is white. It'll go great. It's got this texture on it. I took off the rubber lettering. It said Mumba for the branding. This texture on it feels great. Has awesome grip to it. And it's protective. Like, I'm a durability tester, and if you don't expect me to slam something to the ground, what am I doing? So, alright. Oh no, I dropped it. It's all good. I never turned the screen off. Now I did. It's just it's rugged. It's worth it. And it's stylish. Got plenty of space. You can carry charge block, you can carry your cable, you can carry the AYN sack, you can carry your dock, carry HDMI cable. You can carry pretty much anything you need to in this, except for a display, like an extra display, unless it's a small one. I do have planned to get in supported the DNA Duo. So whenever that comes in, I will check and see how well it fits in this case as well. I know because of the height of this, it's probably not going to fit in this, but it could. Like, there's enough depth in this case. In the bottom, between here, to be able to fit another display or something. It's just this doesn't fit 7-inch device. It fits, well, it's made for the Switch OLED, so I guess it does fit a 7-inch device. It's not made for higher than that. Give me one moment, I'll test. It made me remember, you know, I do have this Switch OLED. Just haven't used it in a while because I've been doing dev testing on new hardware, so it does fit. And it does get covered by that to protect. Wonder if it'd be easier if I did it like this and sandwiched it between. Probably not. Nope. That's not going to work as well. As you can see, it does fit. It just isn't going to be secured unless I secured it in on top of the other display, which I don't feel like causing damage for. And I don't like that it's already starting to flex the corners out either, so that tells me, no, that's not a good idea. Let's check it in this case. So it does not fit in the Odin 2 case. So you couldn't use this case for the DNA Duo to fit inside of. Unless you, let's see. No, can't do that. You would need a thicker case to be able to fit the DNA Duo in with the Odin 2 or the Odin2 Portal. So, just things to be aware of. Wanted to test it just to check and see, because I don't know if they're going to include any options for a case with the DNA Duo. Alright, one more moment. Okay, we're back. So, going to show you proof of this display I have not having any green banding. I'm just going to go down. No green. No green. No green. No green. It's just dark. It's as dark as it goes. Other than turning on extra dim. When you turn on extra dim, everything gets a magenta hue as you get darker. And then after about 22% brightness, you get a little bit of green that comes in. So turn that back. We'll put this back to 52, about optimal for your color depth. Remember, this is not HDR currently. This is just wide color gamut. Or WCR, wide contrast ratio. Or wide dynamic range. Not high dynamic range, which is HDR. Devil May Cry is still updating. Let's see. I can't get it to run at the moment because the key is expired, but Racing Master is pretty amazing. My VPN is not letting it access, so it's not accepting my China license key. This does have native controller support, and this is the best looking racing game you will see on mobile for a long time. I don't know if you can understand how quality this game is. It was in development for close to 5 years. Went through 2.5 years of testing. We'll go top. That's fine. Bottom. Yeah. And you just saw like the graphics for being able to, and my phone is detecting faces on it, is how realistic it looks. This is all in engine too. Something to look forward to whenever it goes global later this year. So here's some things you may recognize. We got Etheria Restart. We have Moonlight Blade, Withering Waves, Bright Memory Infinite, and Wondering something. I like my Chinese RPGs. You don't get high quality attention to detail on outfits like this in any other region's games. If you've never played before Chinese RPGs, look into Sword and Fairy or Xuanyuan. Plus, whenever they do combat well. It's flashy, it's cool looking, and it's over the top. It's wuxia, so it's that style. You just download these off their websites. You don't have to go through Google Play to do it. Wandering Swords. Perfect World Games. Better experience with headphones, you think? Let's see how it sounds maxed out volume on this. Be back after it finishes. Alright guys, so this is going to have to be for a whole other video because I'm going to have to be waiting on everything to update, and it's going to take a while. But the only thing I don't have right now is the FLIR drivers updated for my main device for it. So I have to wait for those to come in, and then I'll be able to get actual thermal photos to go along with what I showed you in the stress test. But for now, I guess that's going to wrap it up. And yeah, this device is pretty amazing. I will sing the praises of AYN once again because they continue to be all you need. Their namesake, AYN, not AYN, not AYN. It's AYN. All you need. Get you one of these if you're a developer, and just make sure and don't take off this back hump piece that covers your M.2 drive whenever you have the portal in there, or you will detach that circuit board underneath the USB-C connector like I had happened to me. So, yeah, guys, if you enjoy this video, feel free to give it a like. We have actually surpassed 1,000 subscribers. I didn't ever want to try and do such a thing, but thank you for giving me an audience and a community that cares about the deep dives on tech and not just about emulation like every other person, but the development side of things and the industry inside as far as how things are done, not what people say and how they say and think they're done. But if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. I do check comments and respond as I receive them. Usually try and check at least once a day. And yeah, guys, if you want to subscribe, great. If you want to like the video, great. Thank you for your viewership. Smack this hole. Thank you for everything that's led up to this, being my health journey that's gone from having been bedridden to not having a future and not knowing how long I'm going to live, to lifestyle changes, to everything else. I'm just grateful that I've been able to get some sort of conditioning done for my health and found things that do work. And in addition to that, even if it takes me forever to do something, I try and get it all done at once and just drain myself to where I don't have to worry about anything else for a few days to recover. It's just how my health has been for the last bit. If you've been here since the beginning, I appreciate it. Like, I don't do any of this with monetization. I don't do any of this with sponsorships or stuff. I purchase everything that I get and show you guys because I want to show you the experience of consumer side, not reviewer side. Because I'm not a reviewer. I'm an overviewer. Like, I do overviews. I do in-depth deep dives and everything else like that. You know, I have over 25 years, going on 26 years of experience in the industry with manufacturers, relationships. And that includes quadruple A, it includes legal side and other things. But I'm happy that the first video for this got viewership at all, because it does hurt whenever you wake up and whenever you refresh the video to see how many views there are. It only went up one because it was your own view that was what changed. I know that everything I make of coverage doesn't hit with everyone, but for those of you that appreciate what I do, great. I appreciate you. I appreciate your opinions. I appreciate your feedback. I don't always take it into account because I have my certain way I do things and have always done things, and I hate editing. Like, that's why it took so long on this first video that I did, is I had to cut down 5 hours and 58 minutes of footage to just under an hour and a half, and this video is already almost an hour and 40 minutes. So, but this has all been done on a full battery charge, so yay. But yeah, guys, this is Auburn, your Taking Games Crusader. I hope you guys have a good night, good day, take care, thanks for watching. Look forward to a couple more videos with this unit before I send it off to California to Go Video Games, for them to be able to stream mobile games. And then I'll have my white unit that will fit in my white case. So looking forward to that. And I'll have my clear white grip to go on it as well. Yeah, guys, thanks again.